Hello, I am Donny, and I am the cute one.
And I am Chelsea, and I am the cute one.
TGIF, cuties.
It's Friday.
It is. Happy Friday. God bless us all.
God bless us, everyone, to quote Tiny Tim.
He's not dead, famously.
He lived. By George, he did it. With just a little bit of the Christmas spirit and a little less capitalism in the world.
Ain't that a beauty?
Ain't that a beauty? Well, it's Friday, and I feel alive. Nothing gets my engine going quite like revenge.
Oh, Taylor Swift.
Me and Taylor Swift have that in common. You're exactly right. I am giddy. I am thrilled. I feel like a kid on Christmas because, as you know, I have a new nephew, a little baby angel. He is so cute. He is so perfect.
I thought you got revenge on him.
I'm not seeking revenge on a 3-month-old.
Okay.
No. But for 7 years, Donnie, we have been the only people in the family with children.
Okay.
And my brother-in-law, for 7 years, for every holiday, every birthday, every time they came into town, would bring toys and gifts for my daughters that were the most obnoxiously loud gifts you could ever receive. He once gave my oldest daughter a voice modulator that turned her voice into dinosaur growls, dragon screams, so it would be like, as she was talking into it. So you can imagine how much she loved it and how much we hated it. So now it's my time to shine. So in 2 weeks, Dr. Bald is flying to his brother because my sister-in-law is going out of town. So they're going to do a daddy daycare tag team situation.
Okay.
And I purchased a cute little book for my baby nephew, and also a teether. It's a ball, and it vibrates, and whatever angle it bounces on, it makes a new sound. And I made sure to also pack a full pack of AA batteries with a note that said I wouldn't want my nephew to run out of batteries.
You're sick. Now, that dinosaur thing sounds like something that your daughter would love. It looks like he saw that and said, oh, she would really love it.
Yeah, and my nephew is going to love this teether.
But you are doing it for the wrong reasons. Did he get joy out of making your life hell, or did he do it solely for your daughter?
He's a great uncle, and I do believe it started with the purest of intentions, but then I do think that much like a schoolyard bully, you don't want to give them the reaction they're looking for. And so then I noticed his head was on a swivel these last few Christmases, where as my daughter's opening the gift, he's side-eyeing me, and he knows I'm not very good at hiding my emotions. So, cuties, if you have any suggestions through the ages, because I've got the rest of this kid's life, so if you have any suggestions for any toys that perhaps your child was gifted that I can now pass on the curse, like the ring, my DMs are open. I'm taking suggestions. I think I'm going to make a full Amazon storefront list of the world's most obnoxious revenge toys, because I feel like I'm not alone in my plight. And so we need to stand up and take back our power and ruin the lives of the next generation of parents while giving our nieces and nephews some fun toys.
That's really something.
Thank you.
And I famously am not going to ever have children, so now I feel like I need to join this journey.
To torture me.
You, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's already happening. This isn't going to be a new thing. You don't need to bring toys because you just bring yourself, which is a big toy to my daughters. So then you leave, and the expectation for creative play, you're there for 48 hours and you're running around. There's costumes, there's cosplay. You let them just use you like a jungle gym, and you leave, and then they try to do it to me, and I'm like, no, body boundaries. And they're like, what the fuck is this?
Okay, I'll continue that then. That's good enough. So my week didn't involve revenge. Do I have a voice?
I hear it.
Okay.
You mean like, did Ursula steal it?
Well, funny you should say that. I did go to the Disney rave of Friday of last week, and I lost my voice for like 4 days.
I did notice that the Patreon plug that's going to be at the start of this episode too, cuties, the Patreon plug did seem a little Countess Luann de Lesseps. It was very sultry.
My problem, and here's the thing, the Disney rave was so fun. I had the time of my life. I was singing Sneaker Night like nobody's business. But then they would let 6 people on stage at a time. That was the rule. You didn't need to like put your name in. You could just run up if a song spoke to you, but there was a 6-person limit. So there were girls that like dressed like the Cheetah Girls. So they would request a song and then go up and perform their song. Or like people dressed like the Goofy movie went up and did the dance from that. So like like, if your group had a routine rehearsed, they could go up and do it. Or unrehearsed. I was on that stage 5 times.
Was everybody using proper Disney etiquette where they weren't abusing the privilege that there wasn't a sign-up list? Or
Hannah Montana got up there a lot. So she first went up for Best of Both Worlds by herself. Everyone gave her the stage. It was like a Hannah Montana concert. And that's why I lost my voice. Because when the Cheetah Girls were up there, when Camp Rockcast was up there performing Demi Lovato, Jonas Brothers duet, I treated it like it was a concert. And I was screaming, Chelsea, like wooing them on. But Hannah Montana then did get a little too lenient with how often she was on stage. But then so did Powerline from the Goofy movie and me. So it was the 3 of us up there often performing routines together. And may I say, we killed the love song from Hercules.
I'm imagining that somebody came dressed as Hades, found a way to light their hair up blue, spent all this time and effort to put in this costume, and is like, here it is, my song, Hercules, and then is trying to push their way through, and there's
6 people on stage already.
too late, sorry. Go back to the underworld, bitch.
Now, I did personally request Sneaker Night. She played that for me, thank God. I didn't get on stage for that. That was my first request. I needed to let it loose. But then I requested the breakup song from High School Musical 2. Me and my sister were on stage for that. You know, we love an incest duet. So anytime that she and I can sing a breakup or sex song, we're going to sing it.
That's why you love Ashley Darby. You and Ashley Darby have that in common. That's probably why Coffee and Love resonates so much in your soul, is because she did sing that song with her brother.
You're absolutely right. I never thought about that, but you're probably correct. Also, my knees are all scraped up because in the High School Musical 2 breakup song, it is Vanessa Hudgens for 70% of the song. And then when Zac Efron sings, he sings, "What about us?" So I naturally slid on my knees like a boy band. And I was in booty shorts, you may recall. So my knees are tore.
But with your costume, you could have worn knee pads.
I could have. I didn't think about it. And I should have known I was going to slide across the floor. At my sister's wedding, I brought a change of pants and shoes, so I wasn't sliding across the floor in a rented tux. Like, I brought outfit changes so I could slide across the floor when Footloose came on. So I should have known I would have done it here.
Yeah, well, next time.
Yeah, next time. My sister wants to go to the Broadway one. That's coming to Philadelphia in November. So we're already looking at costume ideas. She wants to be the Heathers. Fine, that's cute. However, I do need booty shorts involved in mine.
Why don't you and your sister go as Sandy and Danny, and then you can be Sandy when she gets all sexy, and you can wear little leather booty shorts.
Grease is a little too basic.
But then there's plenty of songs about fucking each other.
You know what?
Those summer
you
nights.
might be onto something.
Oh, well, oh, well, oh, well.
While we're onto my booty shorts, I do need to talk about, I get diarrhea whenever I visit my parents' house.
Cuties, if you're playing along at home, check the clock. I think we are 3 minutes in.
I get diarrhea often, just often, but always when I go to my parents' house.
You know that Tom Hamlet is picking up his phone right now as he listens to the episode to text you about your butthole, because he is very concerned.
He is, and that's part of the reason I started becoming a top, because it's hard to bottom when you're clogged up.
Would we say clogged up, or would we say Niagara Falls?
Both. That's the real reason I have that towel, Chelsea, that I talk about in the next episode, because if I lay on my couch and use a butt toy, it unclogs it.
Well, cuties, that's a little teaser for things to come in our Beetlejuice episode.
But here's the thing, it's not just me. If you watch gay porn, Chelsea, they usually do it on some kind of towel in case that happens. You don't want to do it on a white comforter.
Well, towels are involved in heterosexual sex, too.
Vaginal?
There's juices that flow.
That stain it?
Well, depending.
Wow, I learn something new every day.
Thanks for coming to our sex talk. Just call us Dr. Ruth.
So I took 4 Imodium before the big event because I was wearing booty shorts and I had diarrhea. My sister had a pregame at her house where we could drink and she made appetizers. I knew this was the mindset of a party. I wasn't going to not drink and I wasn't going to not eat. So if I had 4 Imodium, I could binge eat on mozzarella sticks and pizza bagels and drink 7 Trulies before I even left the house. And that's exactly what I did.
We love a person who's going to think ahead. You didn't come with the knee pads, but you did come stocked with keep yourself from pooping pills.
No, I didn't. It was just in my parents' medicine cabinet. And what's the realty of it is the pack was a pack of 6, and I had 4 of them. So now when they go in to shit themselves next time, there's only 2 left.
Are you supposed to take 4 at a time?
Well, there's a gay porn star that takes 10 before he does butt
Well,
stuff.
I don't know if that's the beacon of educational light we should
But
be.
that is what I want to be, remember?
Well, yeah, and I know that you're supposed to dress for the job you want, and the booty shorts certainly are speaking to that, but I think that maybe we should read the back and see what a suggested serving size is. We're not looking to Snooki to see what drinking in moderation is.
Well, funny you speak of Snooki. That's why I took this Imodium, because I remembered in her book, A Sure Thing, that the main character, someone puts diuretics in her drink as punishment, so then she shits herself on the dance floor. So when I had a vision of me in these booty shorts, Snooki in A Sure Thing was the first thing I thought of.
Thank God for Snooki. Well, it did look like you had a lovely time. I was catching up on Big Brother. We were having, as is tradition, very different Friday nights. I was wrapped in double weighted blankets. My goal in life is to one day just be smushed by weighted blankets. I love it. Just catching up on Big Brother, and I was getting the video updates. And then when I got the video update that, in fact, Sneaker Night had been played, I took a big sigh of relief because I knew that I would never hear the fucking end of it if Sneaker Night had not been played. But you went full feral, and I was really happy for you because I know I shit on your hobbies, interests, likes, things that bring you joy, etc. It's my favorite thing to do. It brings me joy to shit on your joy. But really, when I see you in your element there, I love watching you do your thing just purely in the moment at that Disney rave. So I'm glad you had a good time.
And you know what? Now that you bring it up, I wasn't going to mention it. It was in my notes, and then I wasn't going to talk about it, but I will now. I got this boy's number at the Disney rave, and whether anything happens from it or not, even if I don't need to take Imodium before hanging out with him, even if I just got the number, it is nice to have been able to truly be myself and someone still had enough interest in me to get my number. I feel like most times when I get numbers, I'm like playing butch at a bar and not dancing the way I want to and just standing against the wall with my drink and nodding, because that's how you have to entice men in, and then you can show them, hey,
What about us?
Yeah, but I didn't have to trick him. He was just like Powerline from a Goofy movie. I was just like Disney Channel games, and we just bonded over our love of Vanessa Hudgens.
I'm very proud of you, and that makes me very happy because you should be your truest, most authentic self and get those numbers.
Thank you. Now, I did scare him away when I sent nudes within 2 hours, but that's okay.
Well, I think there might be different rules for Disney gays. I think that's where the miscommunication was.
I know, but I'm one, so I always think I'm everyone's target audience, and I'm not.
Well, you always think that the way that you view the world is the way everyone views the world, because that's the same as like when you introduce me to a movie that you say, I'm absolutely going to love, and 2 minutes in, I text you and say, Donny, what the fuck? And then you're like, oh, I forgot you're a different person than I am.
Yeah, so we have to talk about a lot of movies, so let's use that as a segue.
Sure.
But first, if...
Julie Chen.
But first, if you haven't gone to our YouTube yet, go over there now. You can see stuff instead of just listen. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you comment. Help the algorithm. Help us. Then I want you to go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts where you can rate us 5 stars and leave a glowing review about how much you love us to help other people find out how much they love us. Thank you.
I'm trying to be a recovering people pleaser, but my inner child is very triggered. We have not gotten a single review in the month of September.
I know. I don't know what
happened.
happened.
I'm starting to feel like, what's happening? Am I not worthy? Am I not loved? Please, cuties, help me.
And we beg every week, so I don't know.
We're literally saying validate us. This week brought us the start of Sabrina Carpenter's tour, Taylor Frankie Paul and that Dakota guy breaking up, Bethany Frankel walking the runway, the announcement of a new Lady Gaga album, Janet Jackson making a fool of herself in the press, Tia and Tamara's estrangement, and the 20th anniversary of Lost and Veronica Mars.
I am going to make you watch Veronica Mars.
Okay, I don't think I will dislike Veronica Mars.
No, you won't. It is perfect television.
Isn't it Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
Okay.
She has a short haircut in season 1, but I can get past it.
Well, lucky for you, I am a different person than you, so I don't think that will impact my viewing. So I want to talk about a recent interview that Stephen Baldwin did. He said, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's not a good actor. The business says DiCaprio is great because he's given great roles. He's done some great films, but he's not a great actor. He's seen as a great actor, but not because he's Gary Oldman, which Gary Oldman, great actor, but a weird sentence there.
It is. I don't even know if the business says Leo's a great actor. It took him like 25 years to get an Oscar.
He had to fight a bear for that one, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think he's a good actor, though. I think the problem is that you always know you're watching him because he's Leonardo DiCaprio. It's the same I feel with like George Clooney or Brad Pitt.
Well, now you're naming people that aren't good actors.
Okay, Bradley Cooper is a really good actor, but he transforms himself. So when he's in The Hangover, he's in The Hangover. When he's in that movie that recently traumatized me, where he plays the like psychic guy, he's that psychic guy. But Leonardo DiCaprio, I still know I'm watching him, but he's still good, which I feel like that makes me think he's really good because I'm still able to enjoy him in the movie, even though I'm like, oh, here's Leonardo DiCaprio doing drugs, Wolf of Wall Street. Here's Leonardo DiCaprio being racist.
Django Unchained. I can get behind that. I would agree. Maybe he's good to me. I don't know. He's not anyone that I would run and see a movie for, but he's also not anyone that would turn me off if I knew he was in it. Like, there are some people, Kate Mara, who, if they're in a movie, I'm like, I will not be watching that. I'd rather eat rocks.
That's kind of how I feel about Kristen Stewart, which I know is not a hot take, but Dr. Bald is truly #1 in the K-Stu fan club. He's like, oh, well, we got to see that. She's a great actress.
Now, here's the thing. My soul feels the way Dr. Bald does, but I think I don't. But then when I do end up seeing that movie, I'm like, oh, why don't I see all her movies? She's so good.
Well, I think that now that she's leaning into
lesbian.
Yeah, she's doing the Vince Vaughn thing now, where basically she's just playing different versions of herself now. And I do think she is better playing that than Bella Swan. Like, I think Bella Swan, it was tough because that was like her breakout role, and that was just her biting her lip for 4 straight movies.
5, right?
5 straight movies, yeah.
Good Lord.
My God. But Billy Baldwin will always be my favorite #1 because of Dirty Sexy Money. But then I wanted to look up. I was like, okay, Stephen, what have you been in recently for you to be speaking to this? So, A Carpenter's Prayer, the inspiring true story of a pastor and his family building a new church and a troubled carpenter who becomes their unlikely source of hope, proving that faith in God is the true path to redemption, even in the most tragic of circumstances. Now, I was ready to roast this movie, but then I did my research. I headed over to Rotten Tomatoes, 100%.
But how many people reviewed it?
Mariah B. says, if you've not had the chance to see this movie yet, there's still time. A Carpenter's Prayer is more than a movie. It's an experience.
Oh.
So it could be that 4 people rated it, but everybody rated it 100%. So who am I to shit on Stephen Baldwin?
Maybe she saw it in 4D, and that's why it was an experience, not a movie.
It was like when you took me and the girls to the aquarium and they sprayed water at us.
I love a 4D ride.
It was
I wanted to
great.
see Twisters in it so bad. Apparently, people lost their nose rings in their popcorn when they saw Twisters in 4D. I wanted to go so bad. #2, I don't like what you are setting up here, that you need to be good at something to judge other people at that. I can talk about Kate Mara being a terrible actress all I want. I can talk about Met Gala looks being hideous all I want. That doesn't mean I'm a fashionista.
Okay, that's a fair point. I mean, it is very hypocritical of me because judging is literally one of my favorite activities.
So leave Stephen alone. Now, I have some movie news, just some updates on iconic films. Scream 7. We know Neve Campbell has signed up. Courtney Cox has not officially signed up yet, but she did say she thinks in Scream 5 that killing off Dewey, spoiler alert, killing off Dewey was a mistake and that they should find a way to bring him back. And that's big. Well, it's either big or that money would somehow go to her and her daughter because it is her ex-husband. So I would say, like, who the fuck cares? Kill him off.
But aren't they amicable?
Maybe. I don't know that word. I mean, I do, but
Not in practice. You know it in theory, but not in practice.
like, I can say I'm amicable, but if I had that chance, I would say kill him off.
But I would argue that he probably is not coming back because wouldn't they want it to be a twist if he came back?
Oh, yeah.
So her speaking loudly about wanting him back is probably an indication he won't come back.
That's true. But no other cast members has been announced besides Neve Campbell, so I hope it's a one-woman show. How many times can you be attacked without going crazy? Like, all of your friends and family members that you ever loved have been killed. So what if this one is just her reliving the first 4 movies nuts, where she thinks she's everybody? Sign me up.
And then at the end of the movie, we have a nurse walking down a hall, click, 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 with her heels, a backwards shot from behind, and she has a tray, and she opens a door, and she brings it to Nev Campbell, and she's just in a padded room, and that's how we know she's made it up the whole time.
Oh, see, I have the chills. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, another classic I want to talk about really quick is I Know What You Did Last Summer. The reboot is officially underway. We already knew all the ugly Gen Z people have been cast, but now Freddie Prinze Jr. has signed on the dotted line. We've got him, and there's no way that we're going to get him and not Jennifer Love Hewitt. So I'm practically wet. Where's my towel?
Well, maybe they can have a Josh Hartnett cameo because it's time for Cutie of the Week. I cannot wait another moment. I need to talk about M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. Yes, it came out several months ago, but I have finally seen it. It was wonderful. Josh Hartnett, give him the Oscar. Standing ovation from my living room. Well done, M. Night. You've done it again.
It was so bad. He was so bad. He was bloated the entire time. I hated it.
Okay. So
I hated the first half.
I would argue that it lost the plot. Okay, so cuties, if you have not seen Trap, just skip ahead like 5 minutes. I would argue it lost the plot when they left the amphitheater.
No, that is when it became something I was interested in watching.
We are so very different, Donny. So you know how the creator of the Hunger Games said she came up with the idea because she was like flipping through the news channels late at night and it was like the Olympics war coverage, the Olympics news. I feel like M. Night Shyamalan definitely went to the Eras tour and just disassociated a little bit and was like, I've got my next movie. It was the equivalent of somebody throwing a dinner party and then all of a sudden bringing out their middle school daughter to perform their violin solo. Like, we got a lot of his daughter being that Temu Taylor Swift character.
Oh, now don't get me twisted. When I say I didn't like the first half, I did love the Lady Raven footage. I would go to a Lady Raven concert in a second. I already downloaded a song or two off of Spotify.
Oh, no.
I do love Lady Raven as a musician. Even more than that, I love Kid Cudi as basically Lil Nas X.
Yeah, he was great.
I need a spin-off.
Here's the thing about M. Night Shyamalan movies. There's always going to be glaring plot holes, but that's part of the fun. So yes, I needed a scene where Josh Hartnett became a bodyguard or convinced people that he was her bodyguard, because there's no way that Lady Raven would just be walking alone through the suburbs by herself. Of course, Josh Hartnett being like, hold on, FBI, I know you've got me, but let me pick up my daughter's bike real quick. Of course that wouldn't happen, but that's just part of the fun. Just like we're looking for a twist, we've got to look for the twist and divert our eyes from the giant plot holes over there.
I don't mind the plot holes though, Chelsea. My problem with the first half of the film is that I am too smart for what M. Night Shyamalan wanted this audience to be. Because we just needed to fill up an hour's worth of time to get to the real movie, which was once they left the concert. But in that first hour, besides 20 minutes of his daughter singing to us, we were just filling time with Josh Hartnett trying to find ways out of this amphitheater.
No, but I liked that because it showed how savvy it was. It set up the dynamics of the FBI profiler being like, oh,
no, but
I know
everyone
this
was
person.
stupid. Every single thing he did was stupid to me.
He was trying to find a way out. He was trapped.
I understand that. But, like, why do we need to go into a stock room? I didn't care about that.
You felt like you were wasting time.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
I think it's also supposed to make you feel annoyed because that's how he's feeling. He's trapped. He's trying all of these things. So we as the audience are supposed to say, like, why are we wasting time doing that? But that's because he's like a rat in a maze right now. Also, how much of your dislike of this movie is because Josh Hartnett wasn't hot? Yeah.
That is probably a big part of it.
Because I thought he played it brilliantly.
No.
I think that, yes, this movie is not good. but it's entertaining. Goes back to our conversation about Swim Fan. Is it going to be in my top 5 spot? No. Will I probably rewatch it? Yes, now I own it because it's streaming, and why rent it when you can buy it? But I think that Josh Hartnett was the best part. Like, I thought he played that creepy person when he would like slap on that mask and like be able to connect with people. I thought he played that really well.
But the mask was too much. That wasn't believable to me. That's where he lost me. The second half, I loved him in the second half when he was nuts. In the first half, when he was just smiling at people and we got a close-up like this every time he talked, I couldn't.
But maybe you thought it was just so obvious because...
I am that. No, I thought it was obvious because M. Night Shyamalan can't make movies past 1999.
No,
Yes.
I need you to see... you promised me.
Oh, okay. I will watch
need
that.
you to see Knock at the Cabin, which I exclusively call Cabin in the Woods, which is another great movie that you had me watch. But Knock at the Cabin, I loved. It's a top 5 for me.
All right, I'll watch it. But I think that was already a book. So I think the reason it's so good is the Ryan Murphy effect, where if it's something that he just needs to put on camera, sure, he's got a vision for cinematography. Does he have the ability to write a script after the year 2002? Maybe not.
I think that he's surrounded himself with a lot of yes people. I think that because I personally, every person that follows me or that I've talked to that has had real life interactions with him has said he's a delight. So I think that because everybody just feels so warmly about M. Night Shyamalan, he's not being told no by the studios, by people that he's working with. So he comes up with these fever dream ideas and people are like, great job, M. Night, let's make it. Let's put your daughter in it.
Sign me up. I'm the yes man there. I loved her. Now, I too watched a movie this week and it was Blink Twice. And now I don't want to spoil it. Or maybe cuties just skip to the very end. Actually, this is the last segment.
Yeah, it's the cutie of the week. If you skipped ahead from Trapped, now just skip ahead more. Thanks for tuning in. You can spoil it for me because you told me not to watch it.
I loved it. I have a friend who hated it, left the theater, stomping out of the theater, saying, like, this movie shouldn't be made, especially with a woman director, etc., etc. But it's about this rich man, Channing Tatum, who's, like, famous as well, and he brings all these people to an island, and it's, like, a lot of his rich friends, and this waitress at this, like, catering event that he's at, he invites her because they're, like, flirting a little bit. So she goes, and then... later in the movie, you find out that none of the girls know anybody. They just all thought that all the other girls were his friends and that they were the only one that didn't know anyone. But really, none of the girls know each other. And it's all of these rich, famous men that bring girls to the island and assault them. But then they're given this perfume that makes them not remember it. So they wake up in the morning with bruises or like whatever. And then they... enjoy and party all day, and then at night the men take advantage of them.
Oh God.
But there are like TikToks. So the movie is dark, obviously. But then there are TikToks and like Beyond the Blinds talked about it a little bit with like scenes and literal like phrases said in the movies, or like there's a chair in a corner of one room where Channing Tatum watches other people do it to people, and like all of that are things that happen at Diddy parties. But
allegedly. Or do we have to say allegedly because now he's in jail?
We'll say allegedly. But, like, people in court docs have said, there's a chair, there's a this, there's a that.
Was this movie being made before he...
It was made before Me Too. And during Me Too, Zoe Kravitz rewrote it. And Zoe Kravitz has been to Diddy parties. So a lot of people think this was her, like, outing him.
Wow. So it's like when Tina Fey would make those Harvey Weinstein jokes in passing in 30 Rock. It's like ways of trying to slip it into the atmosphere of like, hey, everybody, here's a joke in passing, or here's a movie that has very specific things, like little Easter eggs of asking for help.
1000%. I watched it 3 days ago. I've watched it twice already. And after the first night I watched it, I spent 2.5 hours on TikTok and Reddit reading everything I could about like the links to the Diddy case. It's sick.
Wow. Well, I don't think that we are the people to break down the Diddy case. So everybody go over to Beyond the Blinds. Donny is their editor now. So go over there and support them so that they can pay Donny as they take their rise to fame. But I do offline want you to give me the Cliff Notes as well, because the Diddy stuff is hard because it's very triggering for me. But also it's like so wild how many celebrities are getting now like looked at.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very interesting because now people are pulling quotes from years ago for various celebrities of them talking about Diddy parties. It's like, ooh, everybody.
Did you see the Rosie O'Donnell thing I posted?
No.
She was like a Teen Choice Award host or whatever, or Grammys, I think. And she was like, TLC got 3 nominations tonight. Whoever got 4. And she's like, and Diddy's probably going to get 5 to 10. And then TLC just looks at each other and like laughs because they get the joke, but they're also uncomfortable.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more I learn about Rosie O'Donnell, the more I love her. And I've started doing what you recommended, Donny, of every day going and watching one Rosie O'Donnell show. Because now that we share a YouTube channel, I can see what you watched, and then I just watch it right after you.
It really is a lovely way to start your morning. I would skip the September 11th episode. It's a little dark.
Okay. Never forget.
All right, cuties. We've done it again.
Now you're just owning it. I love that for you, that you're just taking your power back.
We will talk to you later. Love you like a sister.
Bye.
Bye.